With the 2020 presidential election coming up and with more Republican senators being up for re-election than Democratic senators, it is within the realm of possibility for Democrats to recapture essentially the executive and legislative branches of the federal government. But one branch of government, thanks to Democratic inaction for 8 years and Republican obstruction, one branch of the government is really pretty much off limits to Democrats for a couple generations. That branch, obviously, is the judicial branch of government, and Donald Trump this week just celebrated his 150th appeals court appointee. Roughly 1 in 4 appeals court judges who are serving lifetime appointments in this country, 1 in 4 came from Donald Trump himself. That man has appointed 25% of the federal appeals court judges in this country. But of course, he didn't do this alone. Donald Trump doesn't know who judges are, who to pick, where to find them. So he went to Mitch McConnell, who's got the Federalist Society whispering in his ear, telling him who to pick. McConnell takes those picks, brings them to Donald Trump. Trump rubber stamps it. And then Mitch McConnell goes back to the Senate, changes the rules so that we're no longer dealing with the blue slip rule, which is if the judges from your state and either of the senators from your state say, no, not this person, they just don't even bring it to a vote. They say, okay, this person's out. He changed that. He's not paying attention to it. He's not going with it. That wasn't a formal rule, but it was tradition from the beginning of the Senate. He also changed the rules to allow less debate time over the nominees that Donald Trump is putting forward. And several of the people that the Senate has confirmed, mostly along party line votes, have been rated as not qualified by judicial rating services. We have several people who are now serving lifetime appointments as federal judges who have never tried or heard a court case in their lives. Not once. I have more legal experience than they do working behind the scenes on a couple of cases and being editor of Trial Lawyer magazine. I'm more qualified than these people, and I wouldn't trust myself to be a federal judge for the rest of my life either. But that's what's happening in the judiciary. So even if the Democrats take back the House or retain the House, take back the Senate, and win back the White House, the judiciary's lost, folks. And not only is that obviously very bad for social issues, because a lot of these judges have been staunchly anti-LGBTQ, this is also a disaster for consumers, right? This isn't just an issue that, oh, well, I'm not LGBTQ, so maybe it's not going to affect me. No, this affects every single human being on this planet who has to live, breathe, drink water. Yeah. Those things are now threatened because of these pro-corporate, anti-consumer judges that Republicans have packed the courts with. Now, back to that number I mentioned, 25% of federal appeals court judges are Trump appointees. You know how many cases each year are settled at that federal appeals court level? 50,000. 50,000 at the federal appeals level. You know how many of those are settled at the Supreme Court? Little under 100. Little under 100. And yet the Democratic Party always wants to make the Supreme Court be the big deal. And it is a big deal, don't get me wrong. But you have 100 cases versus 50,000 cases. I'm going to say the 50,000 is actually a little bit more important. That's a much bigger number. Those are cases that are also done, settled, not going anywhere after that. We have to start paying attention to these lower courts, folks. That's where our rights are being taken away. That's where our safety is being taken away. That's where our privacy is being taken away. And we act like those don't matter. The Supreme Court's going to save us. Democrats will get an appointment or two. Maybe we'll add more seats to the Supreme Court. No. The only way to solve this problem is with a constitutional amendment to put term limits on these judges. That's what has to happen. That's not what should happen. That's not what could happen. That's what has to happen. No human being in this country deserves a lifetime appointment to anything. Yet for some reason, that's the way it is and always has been with these federal judges who, again, Trump has put plenty on the bench for the rest of their lives, who have been deemed as not qualified. And our future is now in those very unqualified hands. Thanks for watching, everybody. And don't forget, if you like what you see here, like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. And now you can also become a member of Ring of Fire and get exclusive early access to certain Ring of Fire videos all throughout the week. Just click on the little join button right below the video.